Today, we're going to be discussing what to wear to your wedding. Hi, I'm Leah from Ramplin Co, and today I'm joined by fashion consultant Chris Modoo. Hi Chris.
Hi.
So this is a traditional morning suit. What can you tell me about this look?
Yes, this is a very classic look for a groom. If the wedding was a traditional English wedding, this is the kind of outfit they would wear. Defining features obviously the black coat, single button closure, cutaway fronts, tails, peaked lapels, very classic sort of wedding wear.
Obviously you just mentioned a black coat. Would you wear this in any other colours?
Very much so, no, very much so. The groom in particular may elect to have a charcoal or a silver grey suit, often with a little bit of texture to it, sometimes like a bird's eye or a herringbone. But usually when he does that, the waistcoat and the trousers will be in the same material. That's what we call a morning suit. With a black coat, you wear a contrast waistcoat.
Touching on colour as well, you've paired it with a white shirt. Would you change the colour of the shirt? Go for a pale blue perhaps?
Possibly, no, I certainly would. My taste would be to wear a sky blue shirt or a cream shirt with a white collar. But I know a lot of people with wedding wear, because they've got pocket squares and flowers and if there's a lot going on, they like the simplicity of a white shirt. But I think it's a missed opportunity. I think a pale blue shirt is very elegant.
And these jackets have tails. Typically, how long should the tails be?
Good question, they should come to the back of the knee. If anything, I'd err on the slightly shorter side than being too long. If it's a nicely fitted one, it's a little bit shorter, it can still look quite elegant.
So there's a lovely tie that you've put on this outfit. Would you ever wear a cravat, a bow tie with this look? Sure,
good question. I think a classic small knotted woven tie and a simple houndstooth or puppy tooth looks very elegant. The cravat, again, like the fancy waistcoats, kind of gone out of fashion. You still see them available, based on sort of like a 19th century sort of stock. Bow ties, however, you very rarely see. Again, they can be worn, there's no rule against it. I would just really be cautious because it could look a little bit archaic, or worse than that, you're messing his dress codes up. I certainly won't wear a black bow tie with that because it looks like you're messing up black tie, which is evening dress, and day wear.
And with regards to accessories, I see you've gone for a beautiful pearl tie pin. Would you go for collar bars?
No, certainly. I think this outfit can take some accessories. Collar bars are a slightly more modern touch to wear with morning dress, but I've seen it done. I quite like it as a modern touch. But if I'm wearing anything on the collar, like a collar bar, I wouldn't wear anything in a tie. I think I'll find it becomes a bit too busy. This, the little mother of pearl stick pin, is the classic look for morning dress.
So traditionally, grooms and groomsmen wear a flower through the buttonhole on the lapel. How do you think this pairs with pocket squares?
Good question. There's a lot of people saying you don't wear a flower and a pocket square. It's not an ideal situation. Well, at a wedding, the flowers are non-negotiable. Flowers are really important. The groom would wear a flower that reflects the bouquet of his bride, and the ushers, as I would call them, would wear a flower to signify who they are in the party, so they're important. I like a simple buttonhole, one that sits within the lapel rather than expanded beyond that. That in mind, a pocket square complements the overall look really, really well. If you're not sure, a simple white one or a simple colour to reflect some of the other colours in the outfit is good, but I really like a pocket square and a flower.
Talking about flowers, would you keep it minimalistic?
Very much so.
And with this look, what trousers would you pair?
Well, with the black coat and the contrast vest, the classic look you see is what they call cashmere stripes, which are a silver and grey, silver and black traditional striped trouser.
Could you elaborate on the cashmere?
Yes, cashmere is not, in this instance, related to the fabric of the goat. Cashmere is a variation of a 19th century word for a 2-and-2 fancy twill, and it's just stayed in the language, so cashmere can mean this very fine hair which is used for sweaters and accessories, or this traditional design.
Are there any other patterns you could wear, for example matching trousers?
I wouldn't do matching trousers with black. I think if you want to do matching trousers, I would do the 3-piece silver grey. But there are other options on the trousers, and I think recently I've seen a lot more people being creative with that. It's still been quite classic. If you don't like the striped trouser, a very fine houndstooth or puppy tooth in grey and silver works really well. But I've also seen Prince of Wales checks with some colour going through them, and I've also seen tartan. I think the key to that is the fancier the trouser is, the waistcoat needs to be simpler.
And what shoes would you pair with this look?
Shoes should be black. Black Oxfords, or a Chelsea boot, or even a very smart loafer, but it has to be black and nicely polished, but not patent leather. They should be calf leather, polished to look shiny.
And usually this look is paired with a top hat. Would you wear it with a top hat?
You can do. I mean, the top hat is the correct hat to wear. At weddings though, you end up carrying it a lot of the time because you can't wear a hat in church. And like gloves, they look a little bit clumsy and a little bit uncomfortable. So I think for weddings, they're less popular. However, if you're wearing this outfit to Royal Ascot in the Royal Enclosure, you have to wear a top hat. Top hats can be black or grey, and with a black morning coat, you can wear black or grey.
This is a lovely black tie dinner jacket. Can you tell us about this look?
Yes, certainly. This is a very classic, conservative black tie outfit. Three-piece dinner jacket. Jacket has grosgrain in the lapels, a single button link. The buttons are covered to match the lapels. No pocket flaps, they're jetted again to match the lapels. No vents at the back. A low buttoning waistcoat. The trousers to go with this have a single ribbon of braid on the outside, no turn-ups. And then the shirt, it's a Marcella, so a textured cotton, and it has studs and the sleeves attached with cufflinks, and the all-important hand-tied real bow tie.
Would you recommend this look for the groom in the wedding party?
Black tie for weddings is not traditional in the UK. Certainly when I first got into the menswear trade, we very rarely sold it. It's seen as much more of an international look. The reason for that is under English law, you had to get married in daylight. So wearing the clothes of an evening was seen as incongruous. However, I've seen a lot of black tie weddings. I've been to a few black tie weddings and I really enjoy them. I think they're quite glamorous, particularly for the weddings that go straight into the evening and be like a late night affair. It kind of works really well. It also gives a really good steer to the guests. I think if you have a black tie wedding, the guests instantly know what to wear. And also for the ladies, I think ladies love black tie weddings because, again, they know what a black tie dress is, so it gives them a real steer. Often guests at weddings have to find an outfit which goes from day to evening, which can be a challenge, and you don't get out of a black tie wedding.
And I see as well you've paired it with a traditional white pocket square. Would you mix up the colours at all?
You can do. I think, of course, the first thing to consider here will be the buttonhole. I think the flower in the particularly for black tie, because it's very monochromatic, is the colour from the flower will give a steer to the overall look and make you stand out. If it's quite an elaborate buttonhole, the white will complement it beautifully. But I really like every opportunity, just put a little bit of colour with a lovely sort of foulard silk pocket square.
If you're enjoying this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Would you always wear a waistcoat underneath this look, or is it possible just to go shirt and suit?
Certainly for black tie, a waistcoat isn't essential. Classically, you should always cover the waistband with either a cummerbund, like those sort of strips of silk to match the bow tie, or a waistcoat. You don't have to nowadays, that seems quite archaic, but I think for your own wedding, I think the third piece of a waistcoat just really looks more formal and more considered, so I think it's a really thing to go for. If you're wearing it as a groom, I'd recommend a waistcoat. I'd avoid a fancy waistcoat. I'd do it always to match the suit rather than anything contrasting though.
These studs are really beautiful. What can you tell me about them?
Dress studs are a traditional way of fastening shirts. They became very fashionable for practical reasons in the 19th century with the invention of the mangle, where buttons were getting smashed, so removable buttons and studs became popular. For black tie, if you're being really conservative, you wear a button front shirt, but I think they had a little bit of glamour to an evening affair. So for a wedding, I would be inclined to wear studs. Just a word of warning, if you buy an evening shirt and it comes with studs, you shouldn't wear those studs. They're not actually to be worn. They're there just to show you studs can be worn with it. They're not very nice quality, they don't really add anything to the outfit. So it's really worth investing in getting a proper pair of studs and make sure the cufflinks match.
And to finish off this look, what shoes would you pair with it?
There's some really interesting choices for evening wear shoes now for men. It used to be quite limited. You either wore your black Oxfords and polished them, or a pair of black lace-up patents. Patent leather, which is the plastic-coated shiny leather. Nowadays, you can get evening velvet slippers, you can get evening pumps, you can get some with black bows on. So there is actually a lot better choice of evening wear.
So Chris, we have a classic suit here. Tell us about this look.
Yeah, I think for a groom, the classic suit shouldn't be ignored. I think they can work for certain venues where perhaps traditional formal wear looks a bit incorrect or it doesn't quite. So it's a modern wedding in a very modern venue. You might think that tailcoats look a little bit out of touch with it. I also think it's about your own personality. Some people just don't like wearing formal dress. It doesn't suit their personality or and their own perception of themselves, and they feel happier in a suit. I often you need to think about how you dress in your daily life. If you wear suits for work, you might find wearing a suit for your wedding a little bit too work-like. But if, for example, you're a chef and you work in chef whites, wearing a suit will feel special and different to your everyday look. So it shouldn't be, some people think it's not right to wear suits and it should be formal dress. But if you put it together how we put it together here, it can look very correct and very elegant and very romantic.
Are there any other colour palettes that you would pair with this look?
No, certainly. I think blue's always very elegant, but I like mid-grey. Mid-grey with a bit of texture to it, maybe like a shark skin or a herringbone that's very elegant. In summer, like lighter colours, stones and beiges look good. So no, I think any solid colour looks good. Also some patterns. Stripes can be quite business-like, but subtle checks can look good, or if it's more of a country wedding, I even like tweed suits.
What trousers would you pair with this look?
It'd be to match the jacket.
And shoes?
Again, with a navy suit, obviously black shoes would look very formal, but a really beautiful dark brown pair of polished Oxfords would also work very well.
Let's talk about ties as the groom or groomsman. What would you recommend?
I think pure silk is the best choice. It has that lovely sheen to it, it's slightly dressy, and I don't think it's wrong picking sort of a tie you'd normally wear with morning dress to wear with a business suit or a normal suit. It just elevates it a little bit, but it's still very correct. It doesn't look like you're mixing styles up at all. So simple designs, beautiful silk, nicely tied.
You mentioned the groom having a bit of sheen in the tie, but would you ever consider a plain tie?
A plain tie can be quite useful for a wedding outfit. It's useful if you have a colour palette you want to follow because it brings into another colour. It's also useful if you have an elaborate flower in your buttonhole. But I'd also say it's a great way then if you want to use some more patterns, so you want to wear a pocket square, it makes the overall effect less busy. So a lot of people do elect to wear plain ties at their wedding.
So Chris, this is a very flamboyant jacket. What can you tell me about this look?
This is a smoking jacket. The original smoking jackets in the 19th century were velvet or flannel and worn. You changed out of your traditional evening attire into it later in the evening to smoke, to protect your normal clothes from the smoke. Nowadays they're kind of worn as alternative black tie. They're worn if you want to be a bit more flamboyant in the evening. They're far more flamboyant than traditional black tie. They've got this quilted lapel, they've got braiding, they've got what they call frogging on the front here. So if you wanted to get married to something a little bit more individual, you can have something like this made, and then any cloth you like in different colours. So if you want to be more flamboyant in the evening, this is a good area to explore.
So you mentioned the evening. Would it be acceptable to wear this in the day?
I would think, although I'm not against black tie daytime weddings, I think something like this is very much aimed towards the evening.
So the jacket in itself is very flamboyant. Would you feel the need to add a pocket square?
Not absolutely essential. As you can see, it has a very wide lapel and the pocket is largely hidden. But I always think if there's a pocket there, there's an opportunity for a pocket square. So Leah, I've taken your challenge and I found a pocket square I like with this jacket. I like the blues and yellows, they sort of pop nicely against the dark colours of the jacket. But also, because it's a wide lapel and you only have a small amount of the pocket showing, I fashioned it with the ends of the handkerchief sticking outwards, which is a useful tip when you have a wider lapel and a smaller pocket space. This way it draws more attention to it. If you like to show that sort of style, it wouldn't hurt if you wanted just to fold it and have a small amount shown, but I think this is a little bit more of a bit more flair to it.
Our products listed are linked in the description below. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment. Thanks for watching, see you next time.